Good morning. This is Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. It is approximately 9:15 a.m. as I make this video. And boy, oh boy, a lot of things are happening. The markets are on the brink. It's just chopping near that top end of the range. But the topic for today is trading the geopolitical chaos. There's a lot to talk about. It's not what it seems. And there is a significant pressure building for the marketplace and for the world. So we'll talk about that and how that relates to our trading and what Galaxy Stock Market, our group, is doing about it. Here's the disclaimer. Pause it, read it. If you agree, please move forward. And of course, I'm on x.com/Galaxy Stock Market. I've been posting a lot because I can't help myself. But the thing is that I can't remain quiet without actually doing us service for our followers and for my trading group. And so here's the problem. We're in the black swan moment. And here are the things that has developed that has the biggest attention of mine, that I think is the biggest concern going forward. And of course, Ukraine got denied money, and I think we'll talk more about that. But I think a lot of people began to see what this is. And while there's a lot of rhetoric and chaos and noise, and oh my goodness, I mean, I've not seen so much division within our country as a result of what happened between Zelensky and Trump and J.D. Vance at the Oval Office. We'll talk more about that. Of course, EU is threatening sending troops, and you can clearly see where the battle lines are drawn. Of course, we're trying to look for peace, and, I don't agree one way or the other. I'm not taking sides here, although you can see where I stand, is that World War III rhetoric is up a notch. And it seems to me that the global community isn't concerned about peace, more so in ratcheting up our march towards World War III. And of course, Pam Bondi and the FBI, Southern District of New York office, is being blamed for this Epstein list fumble because there's a lot of cringeworthy things that has happened last week, especially with the social media influencers who I thought, why are you celebrating these kind of things? It's not good optics, and we'll talk more about that as well. Yes, crypto's crashed along with all the asset classes, and I believe that the stock market crash is just right around the corner, and it was an everything type of a crash moment, and we'll talk more about that as the technical analysis continues, not pursues, but and stock markets are wobbling, guys. It's near the top. We broke some critical levels, and we'll talk about that. But anyways, it's the warning. Okay, I've been warning you guys. We've been trading very profitably, being very opportunistic with certain stocks, and we'll talk more about how we're dealing with that kind of situation. But let's go through our list of news items from trustworthyx.com. You can't get your news from, the legacy media outlets or mainstream media anymore. And so this is what you have to look at. First and foremost, we have from Wall Street Apes, and this is a big news, right? The good old Girl Scout cookies. Say it ain't so, guys. And what they're finding out, and Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan show, he is saying they're toxic as F, right? I mean, it's got arsenic, which is poison, lead and aluminum in high doses that's being found out in the Girl Scout cookies right here, okay? 88% contain arsenic, lead, and mercury. I mean, these are all toxic crap, right? But more importantly, it contains glyphosate, okay? So what that is it's a herbicide that's in Roundup that they're being sued for, that's in Girl Scout cookies, that causes cancer, folks. So that trusty old Girl Scout cookies, I mean, I believe a lot of these things are not by accident, folks. It's basically in every facet of our lives, and it is your responsibility to basically do your own research and make sure that the food that you eat is not harming you. And RFK Jr.'s crusade on MAHA, making America healthy again, really went up a notch right now because he is now basically being vindicated in a lot of these kind of things. You cannot say that this is quote unquote, you know, tinfoil or being conspiracy theory related. It is not. Okay. Here's the things that are in there. That's insane. And I used to like Thin Mints. But now that this is exposed, I mean, it's like how are local organizations like Girl Scouts and even Boy Scouts, I mean, I'm not going to get into why that's woke, but this is really disheartening. All right, so Pam Bondi, Department of Justice, promising to release the Epstein file list. And, she went on Jesse Waters' show and said she'll release that. And they made a big fanfare with, some of these respected conservative X.com influencers and YouTubers. And I didn't like the way they were celebrating with the binders. And I'm a big proponent of what's going on. That just was a bad optic. What are you celebrating about? Why would you kick your legs like you're doing cowboy dance? That's not the way it should be. And then it turned out to be a nothing burger, something that we already didn't know. So what the hell is going on? And it makes me think, okay, that this fumble, is it by accident or is this by plan? Or is there really a list? And on top of that, how are the deep state that is embedded, and while they're blaming New York State office for the FBI for blocking all these, which is headed by, James Comey, which used to be the ex-FBI director, which Kash Patel has, basically is run by his daughter, right? Is this all smoke and mirrors? Are the MAGA, Make America Great Again, Republicans being deceived? Okay. I mean, that's a big questions to ask, right? I mean, it's something that we need answers to. And then so Tara Bull posted this, says AG Pam Bondi says the person who withheld the Epstein documents at FBI's New York office will be fired. Well, the thing is, this is a big deal. They're obstructing justice. And so they're just going to be fired? So where are the rest? I mean, if I did something like that, I'd have FBI at my doorsteps, right? So what is this? So this raises my concern about the fact that there is something more sinister going on, or can I trust Pam Bondi or even what Trump is doing? Remember, we got to think for ourselves and we got to keep people accountable, and you can't just basically go straight through what, MAGA or mainstream media or X.com or social media influencers, either on the right or left. You got to think for yourself. I'm more of a libertarian, and I don't really trust the politicians. I will trust but verify, kind of like Ronald Reagan said. But it raises suspicion about are we being deceived? I mean, it's just really disgusting what's going on. And what that Epstein list implicates. And so basically, that's where we are with that. Okay. And then, of course, over the weekend, we had this major debacle for Ukraine, I believe. And if you saw Ukraine's ambassador rubbing her eyes in disgust, it's not really both parties. It was a show, definitely. And are we being shown a show? But here, before Zelensky met with President Trump in the Oval Office to ask for money, endless money, folks. And we don't even know where 50% of that money is accounted for, but this guy keeps showing up, demanding money like somebody who is entitled, like a rich brat, demanding money, and he got his ass handed to him. I got to admit, he got an ass whooping, and the whole geopolitical community is basically taking sides, turned everything upside down. The question is that Lindsey Graham came out, and I said, and he flip-flopped after watching that ass whooping, saying that, basically he can't support money being sent to Ukraine after meeting with him and probably advising him. Amy Klobuchar, and I forget who this guy is, but regardless, they are the main ones. Pay attention to this. If Ukraine turns out to be the real money laundering cesspool, along with the bio labs and all these things that people are talking about, then these people are the ones that basically need to be held accountable, because these are the people that are pushing war, and these are warmongers, okay? So, but again, Lindsey Graham is a rhino, neocon Republican, all right? probably less trustworthy than any of the Democrats that are out there, if you trust any of the Democrats. I mean, I just reserve the right to not trust any politicians right now. And then take a close look at these group, okay? Smiling it all up before he got his ass handed to him. All right. Going back to the Epstein list, Dom Lucre, breaker of narratives, basically posted this, and I know it's a little blurry, but what you'll read is that this is the plea deal before Epstein was charged, where he was directly naming Hillary and Bill Clinton's Epstein network ties, especially the Clinton Global Initiative. Folks, this is not by accident. This is the deep state. This is the powers that be that basically funnels money and has a lot of these questions about child trafficking and all of these things that everyone talks about, all the worst stuff I'm not even going to talk about. This is where it's implicated. My question again is, if Pam Bondi said she had the list, now she doesn't have the list, and then if the FBI is stonewalling and there are people inside that is obstructing justice, but they're just going to get fired, I think that they need to do something at this point. If they suspect that, people need to be arrested and charged. Okay, don't give us lip service. There's plenty of evidence here. Okay, and you just keep finding Clinton ties to Epstein constantly. All right, you guys should watch this video. It's the link right here. Pause it and type it in. And this is probably a master class on what's actually going on with the involvement of NATO and who actually is NATO, and apparently, and also what started this Ukraine and Russian war. Not what the news is telling you, not what the politicians are trying to say. Okay, he's a very respected person, Jeffrey Sachs. Okay, and he's a scholar on this system. And I'm not going to go into all this grotesque activities that they're talking about, but we know that there's something not quite right with the Ukrainian war, especially because everybody that is supposedly trying to uphold peace are now calling for World War III and escalating it. And that was clearly seen at that Trump Oval Office debacle of a meeting for Zelensky. All right. So Ukraine war explained, and it is shocking, but it is factual. And I need you to watch that. I may post it and pin it. I think it is already pinned on myx.com. I may also post it on YouTube, but they may take it down if I put it on. All right. So Richard Grenell said this is very serious. Okay. So every one of these, we got Susan Rice right here. This is the Obama's, cabinet. Victoria Nuland, who's involved, not starting, but involved in starting the war. And you'll see from that previous video from Jeffrey Sachs, you'll see exactly what her role is. And then, of course, we got Blinken, and then Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, okay, who is now really looking for his way out. He's afraid of being indicted and charged and all of these things. We haven't seen any arrests. We haven't seen anything. So, but the question we have to ask is, what are these ex-cabinet members that aren't even part of Trump doing, meeting with Zelensky prior to Trump's meeting? This is a violation of the Logan Act, and this is serious. This is basically crimes, treason, I believe. So these are not active cabinet members. Why is this possible? And that is the swamp that Trump is talking about. Whether you agree with his policies or not, he is the president of the United States. He is the one that won all the popular votes. He has the mandate of the people. And now you could see clear and front and center how the deep state subverts any of the will of the president. Okay, I haven't seen any arrests, so I'm going to believe that if we continue to hear lip service about people being fired and no arrests or charges are coming, this is ridiculous. All right, shit or get off the pot at this point. Okay, this is that famous meeting, and you can see, you got to see it. I'm not going to play the video, but you have to see it if you haven't seen it, if you haven't already done so. It was cringy. You can clearly see Zelensky is out for money with the auspices of war. Yes, the war is not going well. There's plenty of people dying. There's videos of young men being just whisked off the streets, which J.D. Vance was talking about. That is factual. Okay. and he was talking over President Trump. I mean, it was a disaster. This guy actually probably had something on Joe Biden probably and got the money that he wanted every time by throwing a tantrum. It just didn't work with Trump. Now everybody's up in arms. Camps are divided. There are camps that support Trump. There are camps that don't support Trump. But this is geopolitical chaos, okay? So we need to know, it just, you can't come in when you're asking for money, and especially we don't know where the money is going. This is a serious confrontation. No more Biden's free cash, and no peace deal has been achieved. No rare earth metal deals. By the way, what you'll find out in some of the videos on the interviews from Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, it is Zelensky that demanded that he come to sign the deal. They could have done that offsite, but he came over. It's just ridiculous what's going on right now. So this is Viktor Orban from Hungary. He's the Prime Minister of Hungary. And, of course, lines are being drawn. I mean, he is basically quoting the strong man, weak man type of thing. And he's the one that sees through all the grift that's going on in Ukraine and all the NATO's overreach. I don't think this guy is also a Russian apologist or anything. Okay. And by the way, you can't call people for Trump for standing up for the American taxpayers, for America not being involved in a potential World War III, which he repeated to Zelensky. Okay. And it's clear that Zelensky doesn't give a crap as long as he gets his money at this point. All right. Now, and then Barack Obama comes out and says, Republicans rigged the elections. That's like tea calling the kettle black. Open borders, no voter ID, Dominion voting machines, and all these things that has happened. And then, of course, why is he saying that right now? Okay. And they're projecting onto you what they're doing. Okay. This president, we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out some heinous things coming out about him. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's going to be shocking. All right. He should be laying low. He should not be saying stuff like that. All right. So, and then of course, on February 28th, everybody, I got some, type of a, post on myx.com after I've been trying to say that SMCI and NVDA have some relationships that are very concerning and that SMCI is a fraud. And, and after they posted their delayed 10K, it popped a little bit. We were shorting the crap out of it. It's a gift that keeps on giving, okay? And it's going to continue to give, okay? SMCI is a fraud, folks. When you post your 10K 7 months after it's due, and then everything is supposed to be all fine, okay? You can't trust what NVIDIA and SMCI are saying about their AI revenues, okay? And henceforth, you can see what actually happened after this is NVIDIA to the left, reported earnings, okay? Absolute chaos. We now have basically a bear flag formation, and SMCI is forming this. We're going down. Everything is going to go down, and I think this is what's going to, once it's exposed, it's just slow grind, okay? Everybody celebrated SMCI not being delisted and then promptly been sold by the insiders. All right, and then Elon Musk agrees with this, okay? He posted this, and basically Elon is hinting that Fort Knox is basically, I've said this before. What if the gold, if we have it there, is basically laced with tungsten and coated with gold? Okay, that is a significant concern, and don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to what people are saying or the gold prices right now. There is a battle going on between LBMA and the gold and silver slam crew. You know who they are. I'm not gonna really go into this, but there are more paper shorts outstanding than available above ground gold or silver, and but because the market was beginning to wobble last week, as we talked about. It was an every asset class sell-off, okay? And we will start diverging once the sell-off gets going. I believe we have a crash coming right around the corner, all right? And then, of course, XRP, along with all the cryptos, basically had a mini crash, okay? And I talked about this, and I said anything below $2, and we did it. Did anybody buy XRP? These are, everybody, when XRP is going higher, people are crying about how they missed the boat at 50 cents or 18 cents. And then, yeah, when opportunities like this come up, nobody buys anything. I don't know. It's hard to figure out. Okay, so let's talk about some market technical pictures. So what we're gonna do is go over gold first. Okay, and then gold and silver and where we are, because everyone is concerned about that, right? So yes, this is a bearish engulfing right down into the ADMA. I believe we're going to backtest possibly into this support level right around like 2800. Okay, but the divergences are present right now. I would welcome a short-term pullback along with the market because the markets are in chaos. Now, what it's going to require some form of a catalyst, whether it is President Trump monetizing assets, or if there's no gold at Fort Knox, a war breaks out. I mean, we're so close to that World War III scenario at this point. If Britain and France and Canada start, and Belgium, whatever, start sending troops into Ukraine, that basically is going to escalate Russia's response. And watch that Jeffrey Sachs video. But right now, this is where we are. I believe we're going to pull back, and this is the weekly chart, just like we did here, and then just bounce off of this ADMA or this 2800 level and then start moving higher. We were making all-time highs all last week. I thought we were going to break the 3000. We did not. This R1 is the resistance level, so we couldn't break through. We're going to pull back, and then we're going to move higher. Okay, so that's kind of what we have. And just looking at everything's just kind of chopping sideways. We're still in a trading range, and I think this is more prevalent on silver, the sideways trading range. Silver is going to be gold on steroids when they break out. We are in this trading sideways range, and this is what's happening. And we kind of hit last week on the weekly, just above into that 33, just poked it right there, and then we pulled right back. Okay, and I think realistically, this is the way it's going to go until the market decides to crash, or if we find out there's no gold in Fort Knox, or if we get a new monetary system, or the revaluing assets. Right now, gold is valued at $40, and gold and silver. Gold will move first, and gold is already hitting all-time highs. So this little pullback is not a bad thing. Silver, however, has been chopping sideways. No, this is not a. It looks like it. This is not a head and shoulders formation. Okay, I believe we're going to go right here, and then we're just going to break right out. Okay, and so that's kind of what we're looking at on the silver. Let's go into SPY, because that's super important. We did get a rescue. This is on the daily on Friday, because this 585, so 582, below that level was going to be a flush right down into 572. So the question we have is, can we go a little bit up higher into the ADMA, possibly all the way up into the 600, although 599.81 is the pivot. Okay, so let me write that down for you. 599.81 is the SPY pivot, and we broke below there. So we definitely broke below there. We finished at that level. So we've been selling off pretty hard. This is, it teases you with a crash, and at that upper trend level, this is what basically happens. Okay, so we need to make sure that I'm going to show you the SPY monthly chart. That's where we're chopping around right now, and it's going to test your resolve. However, the insiders are dumping. Warren Buffett has dumped. Okay, Jeff Bezos has dumped. Elon Musk, you don't see him complaining while he's doing Doge, and Tesla's taken out to the woodsheds right now. He's already sold most of his stuff. He doesn't really care. Okay, so we have further downside coming on the CCI. We are overly sold, so we may get a little bounce and then come right back down. Stochastic is saying we're going to get a little bounce, but it's just going to be a little relief bounce. PPO ADX is showing bearish formations. And, if you look at accumulation distribution, we were going down. We kind of poked back up. We'll probably come right back down here. Let's look at SPY on the weekly, and you can see, well, people are saying, well, you know what, that looks like a bottoming candle. But we did poke below this ascending triangle, right? Okay, wedge formation, and we finished below it. So we may try to regain it and come right back down. If we lose this 580 level, we're coming right down into this 553. And then if it gets impulsive, right into that 540, 530 area. This is the ultimate targets when this crash starts to happen. Okay? So let's go back to the fear and greed. As the market is near the all-time highs and threatening to break, we are at extreme fear. So there is definitely something broken at this point, right? There is extreme fear. That means underneath everything, there's more distributions in the stock market, but it's being held up by very few stocks. The breath is awful. This extreme fear is a contrarian level, okay? Or from here is where the crash begins. Okay, so we got to pay attention to what's going on. Stock market's still chopping around at the top end of the range, and yet we have extreme fear, and this crash hasn't even started yet. Okay, something is wrong. Here's my long-term monthly chart. I keep referring to this. It's not abnormal for us to chop around there for a little while before really earnestly breaking down. Okay, we haven't broken down yet, and this is in 2008. I mean, we basically chopped around maybe, and it looked like it was going to break down, and then all hell broke loose. And I believe that is coming. Okay, you got to trade opportunistically. We had one of the better weeks in our trading, especially we had big wins with Mercado Libre, SMCI, BABA. I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay, you'll have to join my group to find out about that. All right, so here's the 10-year yield on Q. I told you the Federal Reserve Bank is hell-bent on saving the 10-year bond. This is their mechanism of their strength. Okay, this is their mechanism of how they rig the markets. If that 10-year bond goes, this is their debt market, they're going to defend it. So basically, they are defending it. They are pushing this yield down. Remember, if they're buying bonds, the yields go down. We're now beginning to hit this bottom trend line. If that breaks, we are going right into the 41. But remember, I've always said this, right? Fed needs to get the 10-year yield below 38.5 for them to really start doing victory laps and saying that they got the inflation under control. I believe that they're not going to achieve that. They're doing everything that they possibly can because Trump, you can kind of see it. He hasn't said it, but it seems like Trump is trying to create a parallel economy outside of the Fed and bring power back to the Treasury under the executive branch. Okay, and so there's a cosmic battle going on, and I think this is what this is all about. Okay. So last week I said, hey, look, when we were down here, the buy signal, we hit 1899. We're moving higher, and I said we're moving even higher. So our algorithm right here, we had the buy signal down here when it was hitting that 1415 level. Hit 2250. This is how VIX works, and then they come right back down because market rescues. And I think we're going to break even higher, start hitting that 25 level. Okay. And that's important to know. Okay. So, and then of course, MSI, my McClellan Summation Index, this is the latest one. We basically are kind of stair-stepping, but, up a little bit, but everything points to this moving down. Okay, which means that a crash is coming. Now, when we're looking at the put to call ratios on the equity versus indexes, okay, indexes are down here, CPCI, and then we got the PCRAT, which is basically the equity index. We came down a little bit, right? We went to 0.0610 last week. I think we were at 0.064. And then we were at 0.11. Okay, so there is again a divergence. It means there's a battle going on, but that generally this index put to call ratio is going to win out. Okay, because indexes are where the big boys play, right? And these are just equities. So we have a little bit pullback. However, on the indexes, we're moving higher. Okay, crash is coming, folks. All right. So the U.S. dollar. Okay, I said that U.S. dollar last week is near support critical levels, and boom, we've bounced there. We may be targeting up into these levels before moving down. Okay, that is just the mechanics. I mean, the Federal Reserve or the global banking elites are not going to go quietly. Okay, they're going to fight tooth and nail about this. But U.S. dollar going to 104.50. Okay, that's when the crash starts. There is also divergence in the level of pullback. Okay, this top is equal weighted, and then here is just a regular weighted SPX. You can see that while they're both falling, the equal weighted looks a little more bullish, right? However, I think we're just going to pop right into there. We're going to find a lot of resistance, and we're going to start moving down. When they start moving in tandem, that's where all problems are going to be coming. Okay. And so here is, since the rate cut language changed from Jackson Hole, this is last week, this is this week. And I said, hey, look, there's still, bearish sign, and we're going to move lower. And so this is where we were last week, and we moved lower. We did bounce a little bit on Friday, but I think we're going to break this trend line and come right back down. So everything is on track. You got to follow these warning signs, okay? So we already talked about the S&P 500 technical analysis, and now let's review some of our stocks that I like. Okay, and this is really SMCI, right? SMCI releases their 10K, it pops, and then immediately gets sold into. Okay, and so while the retail guys are buying calls, and because they're buying up calls, those calls were hedges, folks. And basically, I said, it's a gift that keeps on giving. When we shorted the crap out of our SMCI, we still hold some positions. Okay, we're coming down. Okay, we're going all the way down, especially into this 36. And if any news comes out, especially because SMCI has DOJ and SEC investigations, this is going to fall right down into this area if that happens. But right now, we need to basically take out these levels, and these are the targets. Okay. If you want to see SMCI on the daily, that was the weekly. Okay, we peaked and then boom. Okay, that was a very, very nice trade, and this is just getting started based on the MACD. Just had a death cross. RSI is negative. CCI is basically very, very trending, and then we have PPO ADX, which is negative. Right, anytime we get these cupping type of formations, downward cups, that is a bearish sign. Okay, NVDA, okay, close cousin, very well related. Okay, and SMCI is top 4 customer of NVIDIA's AI. Okay, black candle, breakdown, little recovery. It may recover right to here, and then you reload your shorts. Okay, BABA. Okay, I've been harping on BABA, and we had a fantastic trade, and I think this is just beginning to get started. We had the exhaustion run, double top on the RSI, okay? And, we had relentless run. This is probably the climax run, exhaustion run that it's basically on, and I do believe we're going to have a sharp pullback. Alibaba is not going to survive China's deflationary pressures right now, okay? So that's kind of what I have, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm going to be looking at. But let's look at XRP first. Okay, so what is going on with our friend XRP? Well, XRP, this is a 1-hour chart. And yes, it got shellacked, but you got to welcome these because cryptos are very, very volatile. Okay, we have an inverse head and shoulders at the 1-hour level. Okay. And, I've told people, I've posted it on X. I mean, I have some good stuff there for you. Okay. You had to buy that down there, especially if you're underfunded or if you haven't started XRP. It's not too late. You got to take advantage of these volatility. Okay. They were throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Here's XDC. Okay. Here's the 1-hour chart. Okay. XDC, again, if you look, okay, it's just basically a inverse head and shoulders. It may pull back. It's a lot more volatile, but it's moving higher. These are the levels you want to buy these at right here. Okay, at that. Okay, of course, Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin because it's the granddaddy of them all. Bitcoin did sell off hard. All right. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's like, oops, what am I doing? Bitcoin, okay, is on a major downward spiral, right? But I believe Bitcoin is now broken down the downtrend, and like everything else, Bitcoin's a granddaddy of them all. I see a inverse head and shoulders. Okay, Michael Saylor, however, is pooping his pants right now because he's pulling the same type of crap that he pulled in December 1999 when he rang the bell at the top with MicroStrategy with his accounting irregularities, taking on debt. Okay, same thing, different vehicles. Okay. So I want to show you what I'm kind of looking at. And so we're looking at BABA. Okay, nice sell signal. Great trade. It's not too late. Win looks bad. For me, I'm looking at Mercado Libre, Deutsche Bank. Looking at SMCI, Lulu. Lulu, yes, is in play again. Estee Lauder, Starbucks, top end of the range, and it's churning. You look at the relative volume decline. That's kind of what you're looking at. And Netflix, yes, at 1060 all the way down to 978. There's more meat on that bone, but we gotta watch. Spotify, we've been trading that up and down a few times. We did great last week. We're gonna be looking for another entry this week. Disney. Okay, there's no reason for Disney to be going down. Their relative volume is negative. It's just not really. It's declining. Okay, but it has been bottoming and moving higher. But I think we're coming near the end of the channel. We just need to see this come right back down. Okay, and then we'll get our signal. McDonald's. Okay. We still have McDonald's, and it's a slow mover. You need some patience with this, but it's about to break. United Healthcare, after that investigation from DOJ, we still have a bear flag, and it's almost there. The relative volume is dissipating. You can't ignore this volume right here. Okay, that means more to come. Meta. Okay, Meta's an anomaly. I hate trading this stuff, but it finally broke. Okay, and I think it's just doing a dead cat bounce at this moment. Relative volume on the buy side is coming down. However, all that sell side volume is significant. All right, Uber is another one that's interesting but not ready. And then NVDA, it's a pile of crap. It bounces. Look for the stall and short it. And Alta's on my hit list now. Yes, they have some recovery that's going on, so we're just gonna watch this. But that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. And so I want to go back to Bitcoin as beta test coin. XRP's the real deal. And that announcement will come. Geopolitically, things are falling apart in a handbasket. And I think this is how they bring in the new monetary system. XDC is a real-world tokenization of assets, especially for microfinancial things. This is cheap, folks. It's under the radar. I picked these up, not financial advice. That's what we're doing. So in a nutshell, Zelensky and Ukraine debacle. They didn't get the money. He ran back to England. And he got I think 3.2 billion pounds. What kind of a war is that? Okay, I mean it's very, very clear. By the way, his wife's driving around in a $4 million Bugatti. Okay, so while his people are dying, okay, and he did cancel the elections, right? So, I'll leave it at that. Auditing Fort Knox, more retail. Not retail, more real than ever. Elon Musk is sending out some memes, and I know that we need to audit that Fort Knox because I don't even know if the gold is there. Trump even said he doesn't know. Cryptos are under fire. Have we bottomed? I believe we have. Market's under pressure. One more sharp move higher maybe before dropping. That Friday was a dead cat bounce. I mean, it got too oversold, and that's what happens. America being protectionist, reorganization of our debts. Okay. Yet, the recent budget that came out is calling for a $40 trillion debt ceiling. So we're trying to fix debt, but we're going to raise the debt ceiling. That makes sense. Okay. And Doge is cutting costs, and we're basically telling Zelensky to get lost, but we're going to raise our debt ceiling. We got to cut costs. Epstein hoax? I don't know, Pam Bondi. You better do something. All right. Ukraine and Zelensky versus Trump and Vance and rest of the world. This is how we trade. A 10-year rescue is in progress. Federal Reserve Bank, that's all they care about. Trump cares about cutting debt, cutting waste, and cutting fraud. Okay. Yet the Congress and the Senate continues to raise the debt ceiling. So there has to be some come to Jesus moment there. Gold and silver, naked short slam remains. But within range, it was just like selling baby with the bathwater. I would be buying gold and silver right now. Zelensky and Ukraine debacle, World War III is now being pushed in plain sight. These people that says they want peace and that Russia's bad, these guys are all bad. I think it's all planned. XRP was not meant for retail, so go buy it. Eric Trump deleted that tweet. He said and that tweet was dated March 2nd, 2025. This was tweeted like 2 weeks ago. Interesting. Okay, crypto slammed as most assets. Again, baby thrown out with the bathwater. I'm still long gold, silver, VIX, XRP, and XDC. There is a few stocks that I think deserves long candidate watch, which is Sam Adams, and MTN, which is Vail Resorts. Okay, I didn't put it there. And short watch list, you can read that. Market top formation continues. Moderate rescue attempt on Friday, which is fine. They're not going to just let it go down in a straight line, but we are below the 599.79 pivot on the SPY. Chaos, folks. All right, so that's it. Follow me at Galaxy Stock Market, and I'm posting a lot of stuff there that will be beneficial to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, like us, share us, and above all, comment, good and bad. And then if you want to learn, there's a few of you that's been reaching out about working with me, you got to email me at coachbrandon@protonmail.com or find me on WhatsApp under Galaxy Stock Market. All right. Otherwise, be careful out there. It's going to get wild this week. Okay. So let's get some alpha. Bye-bye.